All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. First, is everyone able to hear me? Go ahead and throw it in the chat. Just want to make sure that the microphone is working. Wonderful. Thank you for that confirmation. First, I want to say good afternoon to everyone, and thank you guys for taking time out of your day to join our remote session here about the version 4.7 features and enhancements. My name is Jenny. I'm going to be going over all these new enhancements for you today. And before we start, I do want to ask everyone, just make sure that their microphones are muted just to not distract others during the webinar. This is a quicker webinar, so we will have time at the end for a Q&A session pertaining to the new features within this release. This webinar is going to be recorded and sent out about early next week to our users. All right, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into our system. So one of the first features that we are going to be covering is the case sensitivity in usernames. So usernames are no longer going to be case sensitive, and this is going to allow consistent authentication regardless of how the username is entered in. Now, I do want to point out that when some users log in, they may come across this warning message. This is just alerting the user that the email address on file is either shared with another user in the organization, or they don't have an email on file and they are going to need to add one. This is just to enhance our security protocols and set us up for future features that are going to be released, just so that if a user forgets their password, it's actually linked to their email instead of just a username, and the owner no longer has to go in and reset that password for them. It's all going to be done through email. All right, since we're on the scheduling tab here, we're going to talk about the next feature, which is the bulk appointment transfers. So this feature is intended to assist clinics in order to transfer appointments in bulk from one provider to another, whether it's due to staffing issues or possible illnesses. This is a feature that we thought would be beneficial to our clinic, so that way they didn't have to reach out to Blueprint anytime they needed to do a bulk transfer between providers. There is also a new privilege that comes with this feature. It's going to be the transfers event privilege. I'm just going to pull this over here so that way you can see this. Transfer events. Now, how this feature works is on the scheduling tab, up in the top, we have a tools dropdown. The transfer events option is going to be in this dropdown, and once selected, this transfer events wizard appears. The first value we need to put in is the start date. So I can click on my little calendar icon and choose the start date. And then my period end, I'll just go through Thursday. And then this is going to be location by location. So you can't transfer from your Watertown location to your Brooklyn Heights location. So it can only be Watertown appointment to Watertown. I'm going to go ahead and select my option for my location, and I'm going to do Watertown since that's the schedule we're currently looking at. And we're going to move the appointments from Robert's schedule here, and we're going to move it over to Michael's. Once I hit next, the next pop-up that appears is this confirm operation. So I can actually go through and select which appointments need to be transferred over. Anything with the check mark is going to transfer, so I'm going to go ahead and hit finish. And then there is a confirm operation message. Just go ahead and hit yes. And the biggest step that needs to be taken is you need to make sure to hit the refresh button, as this isn't a real-time event. The schedule does need to be refreshed for that update to happen. The next feature that we are going to be talking about is the shared clinic email addresses. So clinics can now set up multiple shared email addresses for sending various type of emails for patient documents, online forms, or marketing. So to do that, we're going to go over to our setup menu here. and then we are going to go to the Locations menu. In the menu, you do see that there is a new subcategory, clinic email addresses. You can add all of the shared emails to this section here. You can hit the Create New button, or if you need to edit one of these, go ahead and highlight it and select Edit Details. You can also make that email address inactive by unchecking this box here. If you wanted these to be the default for a specific location, click on your Locations menu, and we're going to right-click on our location and hit Edit Details. In the lower right-hand corner, we do have the drop-downs here, so we are able to select which shared email address should be used when sending out marketing emails, document emails, or the telehealth emails. To demonstrate this, I'm going to go over to our patient, Sally Webster. I'm going to go to her Documents tab. And I'm going to email this invoice over to her. So I'm going to go ahead and select the email patient. And up at the top, we have that from. There is now a drop down. So if I didn't want to send it from the default Watertown email address, I could send it from any of these other ones, or I can send it from my personal email address on file. The next enhancement that we released is the new calculated age display for pediatric patients. So I'm going to use the Adams here, and you can see with Kennedy shows for 10 months or 44 weeks. So children from the ages of 4 months to 1 year is going to show in months and weeks for clarity during that transition from infancy to toddlerhood. With Lauren, you can see that we have that 3 weeks. So any child from the ages of 0 to 4 months is going to be displayed in weeks for precision during early months. And then we have Lindsay here. Lindsay shows as 2 years and 2 months or 26 months. Children from the ages of 1 to 6 years is going to be displayed in years and months for straightforward tracking of development milestones. With these new age displays, there is a new marketing filter. So I'm going to go over to my marketing feature, and I'm going to open up this age manual marketing campaign. And under the patient attributes and the description section, when I click in here, I have age in months, weeks, and years. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close out of my marketing information, and I'm going to go back to Sally's profile here. And in the Insurers tab, I can see that Sally has the VAC insurer on file. So this next feature pertains mostly to the Canadian clinics. So Canadian clinics can now easily identify hearing aids that are covered by insurers. When I go to click on the order button up at the top, I can see now that any hearing aid that is covered by insurance or has insurer coverage within the setup menu is going to show with this green check mark. I'm going to go ahead and select my Oticon Intense here, and you can see in the price column, I do have those two prices for the different categories. If I hover over the price, it does give me a breakdown of which one goes with which. If I select left, this new pop-up appears, letting me choose which category I want to select. We'll go ahead and do that with the right as well. And this leads us into our next feature, which is going to be the enhanced item selection for orderable items. So since we selected Oticon hearing aids, when I go to my orderable items menu here, it's going to automatically filter my manufacturer by Oticon. This allows for easier selection when creating a patient order. And if you do need to select from a different manufacturer, you still have the option to click on your filter and find that different manufacturer. All right, sticking with our hearing aid enhancements, I'm going to go to the patient's hearing aid tab here. And I do see I have a couple hearing aids on loan for this patient. When I go to return these loaned hearing aids to stock, I do get hit with this insufficient privileges message, letting me know that I am not allowed to return these hearing aids to stock because I'm missing this privilege. This is a new enhancement that we released to allow clinics more in control over their inventory. The previous existing privilege was the return items to stock has been returned to, or renamed, I'm sorry, to return ordered items to stock for clarity. So I can go ahead and show you that here. Pull this over for you guys to see. We have return loan items to stock and return order items to stock. All right, we're getting towards the end here, but one of these last ones is a feature that has been requested very much, and it's the option to void hearing aid invoices. This was released to allow our users to have more flexibility and kind of give them more control over which sales are, excuse me, which sales can be voided. Again, this does come with a new permission. I'm going to pull that over for you guys to see. The void hearing aid / orderable item invoice. To void the invoice, I'm going to go ahead and right click on the hearing aid invoice and select the void invoice option. A confirm operation message does appear here. It just lets us know that in Blueprint and QuickBooks, if you have that integration, all payments and credits are going to be unapplied, and then write-offs are going to be deleted, and asking if we would like to continue. Go ahead and hit yes. And now that removes the invoice from the patient's file as well as the hearing aids tab. All right, the last feature that we are going to be talking about is the relocation of the patient sales invoice. I did say relocation as this was previously kept in the patient's alternate contact details tab. So a lot of users didn't know that this was there or how it was used. So we have moved that over to the sales history for the patient. And if you click on and select a new invoice, this is going to affect future invoices that are created for this patient. So it's not a retroactive change. If you wish to change the invoice for the patient's previous invoices, you will need to go into the patient's, the edit invoice option here. Oops, let's try that one more time. And change the invoice template from this dropdown. All right, that is all of the features that we are covering today. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor to you guys for any questions that you may have. All right, I'm not seeing any more questions come through. So again, if you would like to reach us, please feel free to reach us at the support line or our support email. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for taking the time out of yours to attend this. Have a great day, everyone.